G'day guys, how are you? My name is Skipper, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing my 2025 AFL Finals predictions. Now, it's been a wild year. I haven't been as active, I haven't been much active this year or last year, but I am still trying to get more content out. Just thought that I'd get that out of the way. But back to the topic of the video, we got 8 teams, only one of them can win the flag. Let's get straight into my predictions because we've got some cracking games coming up. Now, first up on the Thursday night, week 1, qualifying final, we've got Adelaide and Collingwood. This is set to be an amazing matchup after what we've seen only a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, Rankin being out doesn't help the Crows, but they've still got a lot of good players in that forward line. You've obviously got Keys. We can't forget Jordan Dawson, who can push forward and obviously is a great midfielder as well. Alex Neil-Bullen has been a great recruit. And on the other hand, the Pies have still got a really strong side too. Obviously, Jeremy Howe coming out that back line, but they've still got Darcy Moore there. Still got Isaac Quaynor, I think's underrated on the half back line. And then Bobby Hill could possibly play next week, depending on whether or not he's fit enough and ready to go. And who can forget Ned Long's season as well? He's been another great pickup by the Pies. So overall, I think this will be a pretty close game, but I reckon Adelaide get 1 goal late to push the margin out to 8 points. Now next up, we have a prelim final rematch on the Friday night between Geelong and Brisbane. This is said to be another cracking game. Obviously, Jezza, could he still kick 100 goals in the finals in total? Who knows? Max Holmes and Bailey Smith have also been tearing it up in the midfield. Obviously, Danger's also been pushing a lot more forward, so could we see a Danger bag in this game? And on the other hand, Hugh McCluggage, All-Australian. I think it's his first All-Australian, and he's been absolutely fantastic. He's set to win Brisbane's best and fairest this year. This could be the final series where we finally see Charlie Cameron come back to his best. Obviously, he hasn't had the best season, but he does thrive on these big moments. So I can definitely see this being a close matchup, but I reckon the Cats push away late, kick a couple late goals, similar to what Brisbane did in the prelim, and get the job done by 17 points. Moving on to the Saturday twilight game, and we've got the Giants taking on the Hawks. Now, I think this is going to be a really, really good game. Starting off with the Giants, they've obviously got a Coleman medalist in Jesse Hogan and a young key forward in Aaron Cadman, but their midfield and their backline as well, being Lockie Whitfield, Lockie Ash, who's had another great season. He could be up for a best and fairest year. And Finn Callahan as well, and obviously their captain Toby Green. And the likes of Hawthorn, they're just they live up to the name, the Hollywood Hawks, don't they? You've obviously got Ginnivan and Watson, Chol, all the big celebrators, but then you've also got Amon, Gunston, who just do their role so well. In the words of Bruce McAvaney, I think this is going to be a very delectable matchup, and I think the Hawks just get the job done by 2 points. And moving on to the Saturday night game, the last game of week 1, we've got the Dockers taking on the Suns. The Suns in their first final series, can we believe it? We're actually going to start off with the Suns because I reckon they could be pretty hot in this game. They could maybe even get out to an early big lead, similar to how the Dogs did in 2022. You've got the likes of Anderson, who's in career best form, Matt Rao, who's also in career best form, Took Miller still riding strong. You also got Ben King and Ben Long in that forward line. The two Bens combining, they're doing fantastic work. And obviously Sam Collins is holding that back line strong as well. But Freo also seem to be a really strong side. They've also got a bit more finals experience. Obviously, you've got their captain in the back line with Alex Pearce, and Luke Ryan's also doing really well as well. Their midfield with Murphy Reed, rising star, that's fantastic. And you've obviously got Sarong and Brayshaw. And I think Clark is sort of goes off a halfback and the wing. And then you've got their forward line. You've got Pat Voss, who's a big X-Factor player. I can see him kicking a big bag in this game. And Shai Bolton, obviously, as well, is a big X-Factor player. It's going to be a tight contest, a really tight contest, I reckon. I think Gold Coast will really take it up to Freo, but I think the maturity and the experience will just get the better of the Suns, and I reckon Fremantle will get the job by 5 points. Now, moving on to the semi-finals, and I think this will definitely be a Friday night game. There's usually no Thursday night games in the rest of the weeks, and Collingwood Hawthorn is going to be an absolute blockbuster match. Oh, would you imagine Ginnivan at this game? He always has a big day out against his old side, usually roughly 30 touches and a couple of goals. He's going to go absolutely wild in this game. I feel like Darcy Cameron and Lloyd Meek could be a pretty good ruck matchup too. Lloyd Meek's having a pretty good season, but Darcy Cameron's also having just a smashing season. Very stiff not to get All-Australian, but once again, I just think the maturity of the Pies and how well they've been doing and just how well they go in final series in general is just going to be too much for the Hawks, who are still, they've still got a little bit of finals experience, but I think they're still trying to grow into their proper premiership team, and I think the Pies win by 20 points. And moving on to the Saturday night, we've got Brisbane and Fremantle at the Gabba, and this is probably the lesser hyped up match of the week, obviously being overshadowed by the night before, but this is still going to be a pretty good matchup. I reckon this could really be Charlie Cameron's standout game. He could get Country Road will be ringing around the Gabba the whole night. I reckon he kicks a bag of 4 in a surprising best on ground performance. Sarong's definitely going to be up there again. I reckon this will be a game where that he's very strong in a losing team, and I know I've just given it away, but I do think once again Freo are still a newer side to finals, and I reckon Brisbane's maturity will just get over the energy of Freo, and the Lions will get the job done by 28 points in a late push. Moving on to Friday night, Week 3, and this game is an absolute ball burster. We've got Geelong and Collingwood at the MCG. A lot of big games in recent moments with these two sides. Obviously, you had the qualifying final in 2022, which was absolutely amazing. Brad Close getting the final say in that game, and the Cats obviously going on to win that grand final later. And then you also have this year where they played off in a big match. Collingwood were like 4 goals down with 5 minutes to go, and they just went bang, bang, bang and had a shot after the siren, which unfortunately missed because it would have been a really, really good ending. This could be Jez's big game. I reckon he kicks a bag of maybe 6, prove a big point, and Bailey Smith will be absolutely living it up. He hasn't gone too deep into a final series with the Bulldogs, and I reckon that he's going to absolutely love the feeling of finals football, and he's absolutely going to love the look of a grand final, because even though they've had the edge in most of these games recently, I still reckon Geelong get the job done again by 2 points in an absolute classic. And moving on to the Saturday night prelim, we've got Adelaide and Brisbane at the Adelaide Oval. This was another really good game earlier on this year, but unfortunately Brisbane couldn't capitalise on their opportunities with Lachie Neale running 20 metres out, and he absolutely missed a sitter. But nevertheless, this should be another great contest. Obviously Ben Keays, this might not be that important, but he was originally at the Brisbane Lions, so he might have a big day out against his old club. He can just be that player in big games and big moments that can just step up. He might even kick the ceiling goal. Brisbane will bring it up. Brisbane will definitely bring it up to the Crows, but with the momentum that they're on at the moment, I just don't see the Crows stopping at a prelim final, and I reckon they win in the end by 15 points. And the grand final is set. This is an absolutely amazing matchup. We've got Adelaide and Geelong, the top 2 teams of the year. You just know this is going to be one of the grand finals for the ages. Rankin won't be back for this game, but the Crows will still be absolutely electric, especially if they get Rochelle in. Could you imagine the sellies that Rochelle would pull off in a grand final? Tex Walker could also have a big day out. He's been waiting so long for that premiership. I don't know how long his contract's got, but it feels like it'd just be the perfect ending to a career. Also, Geelong would have a big game as well. Obviously, Jezza, could he kick the 100 in this game? He'd have to have a very big final series, like I said, but it's definitely doable. Would you imagine the scenes? 100,000 people running onto the G. Be absolutely insane. I reckon in the last 2 minutes, the two teams will be deadlocked, and Rory Philthorpe, the bearded warrior, kicks the goal to seal the game and get the Crows to win their first grand final since 1998 by 6 points. And that is it. My predictions are done. Let me know your predictions in the comments. I'm sure I'd love to hear them. Let me know how I did, whether or not I made some stupid calls. But that's the end of the video. I should be making more content soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.